Sherborn School Committee. Today is Tuesday, May 6th, 2025, and we are meeting in the Dover Sherborn Middle School Library. The time is now 5:32 p.m. First on the agenda are community comments. We have provided a virtual link for those who wish to make a comment, but for whom it is not possible or preferred to attend in person. Are there any community comments?
No.
Nobody on Google Meet.
Okay. The next item on the agenda then is superintendent's comments.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Rainy day again. Just a few comments because we were together just last week. As you know, both Dover and Sherborn have held their town meetings now, and both the operating budgets and the capital items have been approved at that level. And both in Dover and Sherborn, so has the turf field. So we're moving forward with that project, and we encourage everyone to come out to vote in Sherborn to make sure everything is buttoned up as we move forward and get ready for next year. In terms of student handbook, so typically in May, so at this meeting, we would look at any changes that Pine Hill had relative to their student handbook and any proposed edits or additions or deletions. Kate McCarthy is working with the principals, and they're going to spend a few days this summer overhauling all 4 of our student handbooks so that they are more aligned with each other. There'll be one elementary, then hopefully a regional one. Make sure that all of the language is up to date. It's organized more clearly because some handbooks over time have just been changed so many times and edits have been made that they've kind of lost their zest. So what I would like to propose is that we do a first reading of the proposed changes in August and probably early September, if you don't mind waiting. And that way you have something new and beautiful, hopefully, to look at.
The only question I have on that is, would Dover and Sherborn school committees need to approve the same handbook, similar to how we do curriculum and things like that, just to bring them together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So stay tuned. We'll see how that work goes this summer. And certainly we'll need to start the year off with something that's new and accurate and up to date. And hopefully that'll be a full package as opposed to pieces. And just an update, I had emailed the community yesterday about the unfortunate bus incident involving one of our middle school students. Luckily, there were not any significant injuries. That said, Dawn and I have circled back with Dover Police and the bus company today just to ensure that we are doing everything possible within our regulations and expectations. And so if there's any further follow-up questions, you can let us know. But I'm confident that our lights work, we use our signs, and that our bus drivers attempt to pull into the lane when students have to cross to be yet another signal to drivers that something is happening.
And I'll clarify that they hug the lane.
Thank you.
Clarified today that's actually against regulations to cross.
Hug the lane.
So they
okay.
hug the lane.
Got it. Okay.
I think just as far over to the left as possible,
Yeah.
so that it's like a visual
Yeah.
cue.
Yeah, we had sort of tried to have them go into the lane, and then they were starting to get cited because it's actually not. Buses don't get special rules. So when I was talking to the bus company today, they told me that sort of development and that they at this point they hug the yellow line, but they can't technically. They can't. Can't cross it.
Yeah, makes sense.
And lastly, as you know, we held a legal workshop for school committee members last week with attorney Justin Gomes, and we talked a lot about the regulations around Title IX bullying and harassment, as well as due process. As a follow-up, it sounds that many of the members on all 3 committees are interested in continuing that conversation, specifically around Title IX. So I did reach out to attorney Michael Joyce today to see if he'd be willing and available to do a follow-up workshop. So I will keep you all apprised of the details of that.
And Beth, I think from my perspective, what would be super helpful is clarity on the line between the school committee's responsibility versus the administration. And certainly we're members of the community and advocates and have questions, but just more clarity. Like, it's very clear from a hiring perspective with teachers and principals what the line is, but a little less clear to me on these types of things what the line is. So if that could be a point of that session, I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah. Yes, and just in general terms, I can say that it's your job to approve policies that are up to date and robust, and implement them, and then hold myself and the school team accountable for implementing them. And that's in general terms, but we can certainly dig deeper than that if there's nuances you'd like to explore.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Anything you want to add?
I have the pleasure of being on some ongoing hiring committees right now, and I won't say much about it because the processes are still ongoing, but it's, number one, really cool to see new people come in and do demo lessons and the excitement and the energy and the ideas they bring. I think the second part that struck me is the way they talk about Sherborn and Pine Hill and why they want to work specifically at Pine Hill. So it kind of just affirms the specialness of Pine Hill, and that, you know, it is a place that people want to have their careers in. So it's been a fun process so far.
This is for open positions right now.
For the
next
fall.
year.
For next year,
fall.
yes,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
next year. Yep.
But we don't know, that's not public yet, of which ones are going to be open, or do we know that right now?
Been posted publicly. So there's classroom teacher, school counselor, but
Okay. Because what, 0 5th grade teacher as well? Is that an open
Yep.
position? Yeah, 5th grade, yeah.
And lastly, as some of you might have seen when I came in, two of our high school students, one of whom is the student council representative to the regional school committee, they're sisters. They organize what's called Vibrant Sparks, and it's an opportunity to see our students' artwork. And I believe there's a short musical production and some speeches over there, but an opportunity to see our artists thrive in live. And so if between now and 6:30, if the meeting ends in time, you're welcome to pop over to the CAF and look at the art. You can buy some cards, you can buy some posters, you can make a donation to the Dover Community Fund or the Sherborn Community Fund. So
Awesome.
that's it. Happy to take any questions or comments.
Okay, next on the agenda are the financial reports.
So you have your monthly warrant report, and it's a little longer since we didn't meet in March. So those are everything that, all the warrants that were processed since your March meeting. If there's ever any questions, just let me know. Moving into your monthly report, it is hard to believe, but there's April 30th report. It's like, where did the year go? In bold, obviously, as I've continued to do, I've made some updates. I've looked at salaries. We know we had a large salary variance. That has continued to be true, and it really had a lot to do with our staffing changes that happened before the school year and all the shifts in positions. And that has held steady. On the expenditures, looking at sort of the whole picture and I wanted to highlight that we did have a significant savings in sped services. Was sort of waiting to see if anything was going to crop up in that arena. The budget number was a little higher than normal because we carried over the same budget that we had when Connections was at Pine Hill. Because if you remember, when we made that change, we did the staffing only. We didn't really look at some of the nuances of the related services or some of the extra expenditures. And so now we can clearly see, and then we did make some budget adjustments for fiscal year 26. But I'm just acknowledging that there's really about $70,000 coming from that line item alone due to Connections moving to Chickering. And as we've already mentioned, the software account is over budget. We've expanded the use of some of our instructional and analytical softwares that are used in the classroom. And we are seeing a negative variance in utilities. As we all know, there's delivery costs associated with both gas and electricity that we can't contract for. So whatever is happening, and we are seeing sort of an uptick, just as everyone else, I think, is in that arena. But it's holding at about $20,000 right now. We did up our fiscal year 26 budget number. And all the other accounts are really operating near or at budget. And as I said, any variances that have an impact on 26, most of these we did take into account when we built the budget. So hopefully we'll not see those same variances carrying forward. On the out of district, we're still holding at 14 placements. As you know, there's always still some tweaks here and there. So we did see an increase of about $30,000, but we actually put it to circuit breaker because we have that flexibility now with the balance, so we didn't really impact your financials on the status of appropriations because we absorbed it in circuit breaker. And you can see that if you look at the last line item on your status of appropriations, where we sort of highlight what happens with the ins and outs of circuit breaker. There is an opportunity, and as you know, the budget is quickly moving through the legislative process in Boston. Some of the budgets actually have they're entwining a little bit. I feel like the fiscal year 25 supplemental with the 26 building the 26 budget. At some points in time, there's been a fiscal year 25 supplemental that's going to increase reimbursement on circuit breaker up to the mandated 75%. As you know, we only got 44% when circuit breaker was posted, but I've seen fluctuation where they're taking that supplemental appropriation for 25 and adding it to the 26 budget. So we'll just have to wait and see, but if for some reason it does end up in 25, I calculated that we might see an additional 40,000 in circuit breaker reimbursement. One thing I'll do in the month of May and June is assess where we are with circuit breaker. We're only allowed to hold 1 year's worth of the Sherborn circuit breaker. So know that you also get circuit breaker that comes from the region. So I think that number this year is about 184,000. So we can't keep more than that as of June 30th. So one thing that we have done in the past is we can prepay summer tuitions and we can pay collaborative tuitions up to a year. And we have several students in collaboratives. So technically what I'll do is take that excess and probably absorb some of the fiscal year 26 expenses. Therefore, it gives us some cushion for any unknown placements that pop up. And we've done that where we have been able to have the capacity to do that. We have done that in prior years. So that's something that we'll be looking at doing as we get closer to June 30th. In your packet too, and I'm happy to announce that I actually have an employee now as the assistant business administrator. She started on April 16th, Chandra Junker. And so with her help, I've been able to get a little bit more of the work done. So in your packet is actually your special revenue and revolving funds as of April 30th. And it falls into some of the things that we're talking about this evening. But this shows you sort of the activity from July 1st all the way to April 30th for the various revolving and special revenue funds that come under the responsibility of the school committee. And as you see, circuit breaker is one of those. And with a $223,000 balance, as I just told you, we can only have 184. You see that we do have some capacity. And if you add that extra 40,000 that we could get, that's what I'm talking about that we'll have to try to prepay. But that's there for your review, and in September you'll get the one as of June 30th.
And can you remind me what's a scenario where we would be receiving non-resident tuition?
Your connections program when Chip Green students.
So that's old from before. We just haven't spent it down. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Yeah. So we've been holding on to that because over the years that fund has been very valuable to us for if we had a unpredicted surge in enrollment that caused us to maybe have to add a section post-budget. We've been able to fund that position using the non-resident tuition. Because previous to that, the non-resident tuition, there's been students for like over the years for various things. Connections was just one of the programs, most recent program. So it does give the school committee some flexibility when it comes to that. So that's predominantly what we've used it for. Over the years is to fund that extra teacher. And I think we've done it at least 2 times since I've been here.
Great, thank you.
And then as Beth noted, I just updated you on the 26 budget. The town approved both your operating and also the small classroom floor replacement project that we had requested. So that was all good news. And I think they know that we're, returning probably some sizable funds because of the salary savings. And so that will only help them with their free cash and potentially give them more flexibility in fiscal year 26 as well. Any questions on any of that? Okay. Do we just go on to the Pine Hill HVAC?
Yeah.
Okay, because it sort of does tie into the special revenue and revolving, and you'll see why. So I tried to put it all down on paper so that you had it documented and formalized. But as you know, we started this process last year, assuming that the cost of the 3 units was going to be about $400,000. We got the $400,000 approved by the town. The town appropriated $300,000, and we appropriated $100,000. In the world of getting a soft estimated cost and then going and actually doing the cost or the true specs and getting it bid. It's not just this project. I've seen it happen in other projects. As you know, this bid came in at almost 4 times or 3 times as much as what we thought. So $1,180,000 was the lowest bid for all 3 of the HVAC units. Knowing that we're going to be up against this, the way we sent the bid out was we had a base bid, which was the library. We had an alternate 1, which was the CAF, and an alternate 2, which was the auditorium. And when you do that kind of bidding, you have to go in order. Like, you can't do the base and then go to alternate 2. So we specifically put them in that order, knowing that that's how we prioritize how we wanted to work with it. So we had a meeting with the town, and we said we'd really like to do the library and the cafe. At the cafeteria. I don't know why it's a cafe on here. Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe it's a cafe. A little bistro. I think I was writing cafeteria. The cafe popped up. I'm like, okay, go ahead and take that. I appreciate that. I was sitting here like, what's the French accent here? What am I doing? A lot of writing here. And so the town was willing to build upon the funding we already had. Both the advisory committee and the select board agreed to appropriate additional $75,000. So that came out of their supplemental reserve that they have. So they had the freedom to do that without actually having to go to town meeting. And so they did unanimously support that. So that gave us the funding to do the library. And then if we looked at the cafeteria, we said, okay, the purpose of the cafeteria, a big piece of it is every day where they have lunch and food service. And we knew we had a fund balance that the town auditors and DESE had told us we needed to deplete for school because it had built up over time, and we had not come up with projects that we could expend it upon. And you have to actually have all your projects approved by the Food and Nutrition Department of DESE. So we worked with them saying that the AC actually would benefit the students because the cafeteria is used all day long for serving, and it would be beneficial to the storage areas and the kitchen by putting it in. So when we analyzed with Janelle Madden, our food service director, what we could take from the fund balance that DESE would be okay to approve, that was the $125,000. So once we got that approval, then we felt like we were pretty set. We hadn't awarded the contract. Just keep in mind we were trying to get the funding, but we knew we were up against a little bit of a time constraint because of the delivery time on the units. So we were trying to do this process as quickly as possible. The other significant group that uses that space, obviously, is Sheeta. And we have the capability to sort of do some pre-charging to them because they do pay rent to Pine Hill to use that space because the program itself is run through the region. And so that's what has been funding a lot of your building rental activity anyway. And so with that, we'll be able to piece together enough to come up with a cafeteria. So we awarded the contract. They're hard at work. They had another site visit. The submittals are coming in this week so they can start ordering the 2 units. And they plan on starting work probably right after the week after school gets out on that 17th, because they do have some prep work to do. And the goal is to have it all up and running by the week of like August 15th. So we hope there won't be any unknowns. I think we're pretty good with the amount of work that we did when we worked with a consulting engineer to do the bid specs. But I think that is
an exciting accomplishment that we were able, and the town, I will have to tell you, was very supportive of helping us. And to that point, they also are willing to find additional funding if we can come up with some kind of alternative to the auditorium to at least do some improvements there. So we actually had a call with the engineer today and the town administrator to talk through some potential. The timing there is critical though, because some of this funding that they have available goes away June 30th. So we are working crunch time on that as well, but they came forward to us wanting to try to accommodate something in the auditorium. So we'll keep you abreast of that. I may know something by June only because of how fast we're trying to turn this around. But if you look at your special revenue revolving funds, you can see I've already encumbered the 125 out of school lunch, so you can sort of see where you stand. And as we start incurring cost, I already owe some rental bills that I've got to get out. But as we start incurring cost on the back part of that project, we will pre-bill Sheeta for some revenue to be able to accomplish that. So it's nice to have that flexibility to be able to move forward with this without having to wait for another town meeting. So
That's great.
So if for some reason we go past August 15th or when school starts, what's the plan?
I don't think that they would be at any kind of situation where it would impact the school, because think about this as we're bringing enhancements.
Yeah.
So they might still be doing some punch lists, but the units will be installed and up and running. So there shouldn't be any. Again, it's just the cafeteria and the library, so we're not touching the majority of the space really. You will see an impact when you go into the library. If you know those two big air handlers that you see, those are coming out.
Yeah.
Those will be gone because now it'll be on the rooftop. So, and it will be much quieter in there.
What about the cost of our utilities on a monthly basis? Are we projecting those to go up, or how do we do that? Is it like your house where it's really expensive to cool?
Yeah, we'll have to sort of see how that plays out, obviously, right? The good news is that we signed our next electricity supply contract, and it's I'm trying to think, it's like 20% lower. So we've got some capacity. It hits mid-year. So that we'll just have to sort of see how that. It's hard to know exactly. I will say when we did all the installs at Chickering many years ago, or not too many years ago, we were expecting to see a spike, and we really didn't.
Not too much.
Yeah, so I think I've carried that with me when we looked at this. I know our utilities are over now. Some of it will be, we run a lot of dehumidifiers all summer. And I know that rooftop's much larger, but we run them all over the school, and we'll still do it in certain areas, but there will be some efficiencies in having one unit. So I think if we go over a little bit, it'll be an expense. I'll be happy.
Well worth it.
Worth it. Exactly.
Okay, great. That's great news. Thank you.
Very exciting. It's been a long time coming. So
Yeah.
coming to fruition. Thank you.
Okay. I don't think there are any action items. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Then the next on the agenda are the consent items. So I will read each one aloud to see if there are any questions or, oh no. Do I read them? Yeah. For the minutes?
Yeah, you can.
Well, you can just name them. So
I don't need to read that whole
Nope.
thing.
so it's just
There's just one
item.
agenda.
Just
Yeah.
the consent. Yeah.
Okay. So just do the motion.
unless there's any edits or changes.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the school committee minutes from the March 11th, 2025 meeting?
So moved, Christine Walsh.
May I have a second?
May Padiella, second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Informational items.
I can walk you through those if that's
Okay.
helpful. So as you know, we belong to two collaboratives, the Tech Collaborative in Walpole and the Accept Collaborative in Natick, which we pool together with our neighboring communities to support some of our students who have specialized needs. And it is their responsibility to provide to you all, as member districts, their quarterly report their operating budget as it's been approved for next year. And as you know, the Tech Collaborative, with your support and your approval, has adapted their agreement to include Sharon Public Schools and King Philip Regional Schools. So the new agreement that takes effect July 1st is in your packet. We do not have the accept operating budget for FY26 in your packet yet. There has been a change in the executive director. Donna Flaherty, the former director, has stepped down, and there's an interim holding the spot until we can hire someone new. So they're catching up on getting all of us the documents that they need. So that's forthcoming. And then you have the Dover minutes from January and the regional minutes from February.
Great.
Okay. So our next meeting is on June 3rd at 6 o'clock. Is there anything anyone wishes to add, or you're also welcome to contact? Who should?
You can contact me in the short term.
Beth.
Or I guess me.
Yeah.
If something comes up before that.
And just a reminder, typically your meeting would start at 5:30. Nope, 6:30. 6:30. Because Dover is starting at 5:30. However, we're starting you at 6 so that there can be a crossover overlap time with Dover. So Dover will hold a quick, hopefully, meeting at 5:30 to 6. At 6 o'clock, you'll start your meeting. They'll continue theirs, and that'll be an opportunity for Denny and the literacy coaches to give you an update on their work with the literacy program review. And then once that's done, you'll continue on with your regular meeting.
Got it. Okay. I was going to ask that because I think the calendar invite still says 6:30, but it's 6 o'clock,
I'll
right?
check it, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And then I think before you adjourn, Rebecca, did you have something that you wanted to?
I'm sorry. I'd like to interrupt for just a moment if I may. A point of order. Because Christine R. Walsh cannot leave a meeting and or a standing without pontificating. Do I have approval to do this?
Yeah, well, who's running the meeting? I don't know.
Kristen is. Do I have approval to do this? Okay, great. 3 years ago, I had the distinct pleasure of joining this board with Kristen Aberle. And I don't think I knew fully what I was getting into, but she has been a tremendous friend and ally as we've navigated several different topics of importance throughout the school system, things that truly do impact the lives of our administrators, our administration, and our students. I will forever be grateful for your friendship and your collaboration as we journeyed forward together. I remember several, just one actually, great car ride home that we shared, where I had this beautiful moment of recognizing what a treasure you are to the Sherborn families. We don't need to go into details, but I was just kind of really moved by your intelligence, your compassion, and your professionalism. Again, as we navigated things that you and I did not think that we would navigate. Dawn, yeah, you're always dressed beautifully. Your jewelry is on point. Your manicures make the rest of us look bad. And you have guided us through financial situations you have guided the board, but me specifically, through financial situations where I have been like, what is happening right now? Because we all bring levels of expertise from our own professional and personal backgrounds, and you are the cowgirl in order of like kind of bringing us all into the corral and saying, hey friends, this is what we do. So we have beautiful minds and great hearts around the table, but you tell us exactly where we need to go and what we need to do. And I will forever be grateful for your incredible leadership. Becca, I have never been through a contested election. And I understand that there are people who believed one thing and there are people who believe the other, and that is the art of democracy. I've never seen somebody who has campaigned with grace, compassion, listening to your voters, listening to your community stakeholders in the way that you have. And you ran a compassionate and graceful election, and I was so thankful for being witness to that. I know that next year you will be an incredible chair of this committee. The waves of the seas of whatever comes before your committee might be high, might be low, might be temperate. I have every confidence that you will lead like no one else before. And I'm so excited for our children, our community. I am so thankful to new members, not new anymore, it's a year under the belt, Mega and Nathaniel. You are gifts to our children, to our administration, and to our community. You stood forward, you raised your hand. It's a thankless job in many ways, and your soul is one that supports the kids. I'm so thankful that you're here and you're going to be leading us going forward. I'm so thankful to the people who are currently running for both the Sherborn School Committee meeting, Sherborn School Committee, Mary Lauder, Kate Manziola, and Bill Alfano, Region and Sherborn. And I'm so excited for the legacies that they will leave. I was delighted in my journey to have the friendships of people like Wendy Epic, our Dover committee members, our regional committee members, Mary Lauder, Joyce, people who just kind of helped me along the way. And I will just always stand firm in my belief that you too wake up every day and you do not know what you will face, because every day our children and our administration is faced with new challenges that we cannot predict. There's no person that can predict these things. You wake up and you brush your teeth, you get dressed, and you are ready for a new day. You are both so brave, you are both so intelligent, and it has been an honor to partner with you both. I always cry at these things. I don't cry at everything else in my lifetime, but I cry when I acknowledge incredible leadership. The triad right here is what makes me put my kids on the bus every day, and what makes me know that they are in the best hands possible, and what makes me know that when there are complicated situations that arise, as will arise in every day, that you are willing to meet us at tables, to have hard discussions, to try to navigate paths forward, and that you believe in our babies in the way that we believe in them. I thank you for these 3 years, and I'm excited to turn it over to Rebecca.
Well, that is quite an act to follow, so I'll do my best. Well, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize and thank two exceptional leaders, Christine Walsh and Kristen Aberly, for their 3 years of dedicated service on the Sherborn School Committee. Your thoughtful leadership, tireless work, and deep commitment to our schools have left a real and lasting impact. You've navigated challenges, championed progress, and always kept the needs of our students at the center of every decision. Our town, like so many others, is run through the hard work and commitment of volunteers. This work is not easy. It's often done quietly without fanfare. And as you step away from these roles, please know that your efforts have helped shape a stronger, more thoughtful school community, one that's better because of your contribution. So thank you to both of you for your time, your energy, and your dedication to our committee and our students.
And I too would like to thank both of you. It's like, similar to raising children, the days are long and the years are short. I can't believe it's been 3 years, but to look back at everything that we've worked on together, I appreciate your time, to Becca's point, your volunteers, and sitting through town meetings and seeing you at fundraisers and sporting events and everywhere, just willing to roll up your sleeves in addition to being, parents and community members, being leaders within the community. We appreciate your thoughtful questions and the accountability that you hold us to do our jobs well and to do them well for kids, as well as your support, during difficult times when you pick up the phone and say, how can I help? Or, when Denny and I need a good joke, you're right there for us. And so we appreciate your quiet leadership and your especially positivity and dedication to the Dover Sherborn students. Thank you. And I hope it's for you. Peace. You can never forget our core values.
Thank you.
An apple, thank you.
So I'm a little dehydrated. I'm running out of tears right now. For crying out loud.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And it's your last meeting, so you started the meeting. I don't know if you want to finish the meeting, if you want to share the responsibility.
Please finish the meeting.
All right. Our meeting has come to an end. It is now 6:07 p.m. Do you want to do? Can we split it?
You ask for a motion.
Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Christine on Walsh.
May I have a second?
Nick Ariella, second.
All in favor?
That was one of the sweetest.
Everybody.
And I've been doing